Greetings and salutations, wonderful people. My name is Scribe, and welcome to part 24 of the Elder Scrolls 1 Arena. In the last episode, we entered the Temple of Agamanus in order to access the item we need to decipher another part of the Elder Scrolls, so that we might rescue Emperor Yoril Septim VII from his dire peril. So this episode is going to be probably not short, but here. And we're just going to be going to the Temple of Agamanus today. And it should be fun. Ooh, a chest. Ow. Alright, we're going to do you and we're just going to shift C. Okay, never mind. Okay, didn't expect that to happen so quickly, but important lesson. We're going to go ahead and recast the Shield of No Thank You, and that should take care of things. Private members only. This sign can't stop me because I can't read. So there is an interesting. This is an interesting situation I find myself in. A lot of hellhounds. I'm getting Fortress of Ice flashbacks. So anyway. I'm very I wish you could actually like see the barrier so that you could see how strong it was, because then I would have a sense of when I need to pass the barrier. That's an unfortunate side effect of just the game's age, really. There's not a lot here, like, explaining everything. It's definitely not Dark Souls 1, which kind of lets you see all of the changes you're making. So yeah. So we could get more money here, but we're on a mission, of course. Wow, that took a lot to kill you. My spells are less effective this time around. Well, we are mapping everything out slowly but surely. Ooh, money. I like money. So yeah, it's been alright so far. The latest Coffcraft episode released today, so that's fun. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Yeah, I've just been kind of fun playing the original Demon's Souls. I don't like that noise. That noise worries me. But yeah. Should probably go ahead and fully map out this area, shouldn't I? If only because it'll make it easier to find the actual item I'm looking for. Yeah, okay, so we need to go through this door and left. And here we are. So door. Magic. Don't like those noises. I do not like them at all. There we are. Okay. There we are. Why is there treasure in a cell? You know what? I'm just not gonna question it. So yeah, this section is, again, it's not too bad. Once you kind of get through the earlier dungeons and you're at this stage in the game, usually, I say usually because there's always exceptions, but usually you're not that bad. By this point in time, I suspect a warrior would probably have a lot of like heavily upgraded gear and all sorts of stuff. I accidentally hit a bowl, so yeah, it would be a decent challenge. Excuse me. But most people could be able to get through this, no problem. Now, admittedly, I have a strong advantage being a magician, because I am capable of basically elongating my health bar and restoring my health and dishing out oodles of damage. But I'm sure that a warrior character could handle that. A potion of resist fire would probably be very well suited for this area. Oh, yep, I'm about to die. Mistakes. Oh goodness. That was stressful. Sorry about that. Oh, hang on. Alright, we're good now. That was a bit Anyway. Alright, so... It scared me. Like the hellhound equivalent of Julius Caesar. And they're still here. Okay. We're gonna do a bit of a rest attempt. And see what happens. There we are. There's already enemies nearby. Are you serious? Where's the enemy? Treasure in here. Thank you, Mr. Skeleton. I wouldn't have noticed that if you hadn't done that. Right now, let's try fully healing. And there's enemies nearby, of course. So I did hear the news. It's very unfortunate. Those of you who might not have heard, Julian LeFay, who has the distinction of being the founder of the Elder Scrolls, more or less, the father of the series. He unfortunately passed away. It is very sad to hear, because for one thing, it's sad to hear when anyone dies. But especially for Mr. LeFay, because he is responsible for the series that let me meet my friends and has brought me so much joy for my life and I'm sure many other people's. And so I hope that his family is doing well. Go ahead and drop this. So it's sad that he passed away, but I hope he's doing all right. I have forgotten to sell all of that stuff. And okay, I'll have to sell that later. So yeah, I hope he's doing. Or I hope his family is doing right. Obviously, he's, no longer with us. Yeah, I'm really sad, but just, glad that we can play this game and really keep that memory alive. His works have done a lot. Alright, so back to the game. Not a fan of that. I don't like the noises. the game. About the horrible, scary omens. We're hunting the item we need. Alright. I'm hoping it's in here. And that there isn't a second floor. Because I need to go back to town and sell off all of the stuff I have. Okay, let's try the middle. Kinda figured this wouldn't have the item, but ow. There we are. Still have a decent amount of coin too, which is nice. There we go. Stench of decaying food fills the air. This is supposed to be a temple, right? With like actual people in it. So why is the food decaying? They just not have the opportunity to get more? I guess we'll find out. I still have my money on this being a Daedra worshipping temple. That's still not here. They do so much damage. It's kind of worrying. Oh goodness. Okay. Ow. Quit ambushing me. We should probably save. Remember to drink water, kids. Oh, my kidding, kids aren't gonna see this. I mark that on my when I upload. This game is not made for kids. This video is not made for kids. Money. We like money. Yeah, there we go. More money. Ow. There we are. Really, already. A ghost. Oh crap. That was worrying. Okay. That. Alright, let's go ahead and recast the shield. And, oh, I can't because enemies are nearby, okay. Hellhounds are nearby. Bear left, stay right. I see. I should probably check this guy for money. Nope, okay. It says bear left, stay right. Ah, hidden door. Clever. This must be where it is. But yeah. That's an interesting little maze. Oh, it just lets you access the rest of the facility. So I wonder if that just means that they befriended this person. Ow. Who did that? No one, apparently. Alright. This is, it's still interesting, it's still fun. Help my fellow. Another one. You stop shooting me at me, it is draining my shield. A little too deep for my tastes. Oh, you're a jerk. Basketball points, okay. Admittedly, this doesn't do a whole lot of damage. I can hit fast. I can hit very fast. There we are. There we are. Put this away. Now. There we are. Like I said, the reason I am trying not to use my potions as much is I am trying to train myself for Daggerfall, because in Daggerfall I will not have access to the sorts of things that I do in this game. And it would be better for me if I was already prepared for it. So I'm trying not to use my thousands of restore power potions. Now this doesn't mean that you shouldn't when you play this game. You should play this game how it best speaks to you and how you best have fun. In fact, you might not even play a mage when you play this game. You might play a warrior or a thief or anything really. But this is just how I am currently attempting to do it. I think ultimately everybody should play the video game how they want. Because we all purchased it with our own money. Therefore, we should be allowed to do as we desire. There's a third level, okay. And again, normally I would... Oh crap. Normally, I would just sort of, you know, do whatever, but, I am also trying to keep myself prepared for when I have to deal with this, this game's slightly more 3D brother. Musty odor fills the air. Really hard to make me want to be here, game, if you start describing things like that. Hui. Yes, I know that, Dusk Bloods will be coming out soon, and I should probably do something for that. Like, not play it, but I should probably make like a video preparing people for that game, because it's going to be a lot of people's first From Software game. And I think it's important that they know what they're getting into. believe I mentioned this in an earlier video somewhere, but my first experience with From Software games was I bought it as kind of like a joke because I had heard its reputation and I wanted to see it for myself. You know, it was going to be like this horrible, like, agonizing experience playing this game that, you know, from what I understood of it through like pop culture osmosis and stuff, you would think it breathed fire, you know, ate your firstborn child or something. And then I won't say I beat it legitimately, but I finished it. And then I went and started Dark Souls 3, and Dark Souls 3 is what really got me into the Soulsborne games. That was when it finally clicked, the mentality that would help me best enjoy the games. And because of that, I'm a massive From Software fan. And I was there for the launch of Elden Ring and the launch of the DLC. And will you please pick that? Thank you. I was there for the launch of the DLC and everything, and there's a very specific pattern that happens in From Software games that a YouTuber, Bushy mentioned this, where it basically was talking about how there's a certain pattern where people who don't know the tips and the tricks through getting through the games, they will they'll complain that the game is too hard and that, you know, Miyazaki's lost his touch or whatever, and then give it like a couple weeks and people will figure out what does and does not work in this version of the game, and then it'll go back to a pretty decent challenge. But I think a lot of people, I feel, kind of don't fully appreciate with a From Software game is the more you know about it, the easier it is for you. Like, if you haven't seen a boss's moveset, it's going to be really hard because you don't know what they can do. You don't know the rules yet. But then you see their moveset and you know exactly what to do. And this happened to me legitimately. I was watching some of Bushy's videos and I saw the attack patterns, and it was a lot easier for me to fight those bosses because I knew what to look for. I knew how to react, you know? But if you go in blind, it's going to be way harder. You don't know what to do. And I'll just go ahead and fill up on this here. It's way harder. But then, you know, you give it some time, you study the boss's attack patterns, you figure out what to do, what not to do, and then it just kind of becomes a normal challenge. I think that to an extent, I feel this way about Dark Souls 1. You know, Dark Souls 1 went from the hardest game I had ever played, and it instead became a game I play. And that's not, the game itself never changed, but I changed. There's two levels in a From Software game. There's the player level and there's the character level. And the character level is bound within the rules of the game mechanics, but the player level is bound by the rules of experience and skill. And the thing about character level is the character level can always be lower. You can always keep your character at a lower and lower level. You can always make the character level keep the game harder. The player level only goes down through rust and forgetting the game. That's the only way that number can go down. And for me, I played Dark Souls 1 so many times, it's very unlikely that will go down. So it's very important that people remember that this game is going to be hard. But the game is not going to be hard for people who have played a lot of From Software games. And it reminds me of that joke from Happy Souls, where the Elite Knight says that they obviously made the game easier so the casuals could play, and then, of course, Pursuer shows up. And I think about that joke a lot because it speaks to the general experience of a player where they can kind of get into like this trap of arrogance to like, oh, this is really easy for me. You know, they obviously had to make the game easier. Not really appreciating that the game is still going to be hard because you don't understand the new bosses and how they operate and how they work. And two, that just because it's easier for you doesn't mean it's going to be easier for the people who do not have that same experience in From Software games that you do. And Soulsborne games in general, but I think especially the From Software games. I need to recast the shield a bit, thank you. There we go. So it's gonna happen. There's gonna be people who are gonna say that From Software has lost their touch, that they're washed up now, etc. It's going to happen. But I don't think it's true, because I've heard all of these complaints before during Elden Ring. A lot of people may not remember this, but I do. Is when people first saw the things coming out of the playtest in Elden Ring, or the network test, everybody was complaining about the asset reuse, that the graphics looked awful. It was really heartbreaking for me, purely because I felt like many people had never played a From Software game if they were complaining about that. Because asset reuse is nothing new in a From Software game. They reuse assets all the time. And it's nothing new, and if anything, it's a charm of the game, you know? But everybody was complaining about it. It was really funny to me, especially because I saw the new designs and animations for the sorcery that they were doing. Like, they've used basically the same look for your basic sorcery attack since pretty much Demon Souls. So them changing it to Glintstone Pebble was huge for me. And the graphics, I mean, people can say what they want, but Elden Ring looks amazing. Like, compared to Dark Souls 3, oh, it's night and day. That game is fantastic, and Dark Souls 3 already looked amazing. It looked fantastic. Like, all of the From Software games are beautiful. I mean, when you first leave the Things Betwixt in Dark Souls 2 and you see Majula for the first time, it's like a work of art. Like, I had the same breath taken out of me as when I first left Vault 101 in Fallout 3. It was crazy. It is beautiful. So I'm really excited to see what these new games are going to look like. And I hope that the first time players will get to enjoy it. I know a lot of people have played Elden Ring. But there's going to be a lot of complaining. There's a lot of complaining when Shadow of the Erdtree came out. And listen, I get it. I got my butt handed to me too. By like the first boss that I ran into. But it's still gonna be good. So I still have not found this thing. It has taken me a while. At least there's harder enemies that are appearing, which means I'm getting more experience points. That's something. We did it! We made it to the end. Answer this riddle and proceed into this vault. I daily am in Elsewhere and in Skyrim. At times do all the world explore. Since time began I've held my reign, and shall till time is nevermore. I never in my life have strolled in garden, field, or park. Yet all of these are sad and cold if I'm not there and it is dark. You have spoken well. Enter, and we found it! You have found the tablet Sir Galandir stole from Turamane Upcolthus of the Corinth Mages Guild. When Turamane has it again, he can use it to find the location of the legendary halls of Colossus. Yeah! Alright, now we can leave. Normally, I would just map out the entire dungeon, and then I would go, my inventory is full, and so I can't get anything else, and also, I have way too much gold. So we're just gonna go ahead and go. Alright, so I just need to follow this path, and then we're good. So it's a similar thing that I feel is going to happen when the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out. Because I feel like I mean, to be fair, Elder Scrolls 6 is already going to be fighting a losing battle because people have waited so long for it. You know, the hype is in their heads. This perfect, idealized Elder Scrolls game is in their minds right now. And I'm stuck, okay. This perfect, idealized game is in their heads, and I feel like when we get to that game, it's not gonna be great. Not that the game itself is going to be bad. I think the game itself is probably going to be good. You know, because I feel like a lot of lessons are being learned with the Oblivion remaster. I think a lot of things were learned with Skyrim. I think it should be a positive experience. I have high hopes for it, but it's not going to meet the expectations that a lot of people have for it because it's been hyped up so much in their mind that it's just not going to win, you know? And I think that if people come into it with the same open-mindedness you would have with a different type of game, I think it has a chance of surviving. But as it stands, I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at it. It's going to be compared to Skyrim a lot, and if it does not meet what people expect of that, I think it's going to suffer. It's going to be a very hard-fought battle to get that game to be perceived for what it is rather than what people want it to be. Because, like, you're gonna have the Morrowind fans, you're gonna have the Oblivion fans after it, you're gonna have the Skyrim fans after it. And I think that as time goes on, you're gonna run into people who are just gonna see the game for what it is and accept it for that. And again, I have high hopes for it. I think it's gonna be great. But I'm willing to admit that I am also the type of person who is willing to see the game for what it is and not what I want it to be. I gave that up a long time ago. You know, I would theory craft like what I thought the perfect Elder Scrolls game is, and the truth is, I'm not a game designer. I would not be a good game designer. But Bethesda has made very wonderful games, and I, you know, give the benefit of the doubt. Please stop hurting my Magicka reserves, sir. So I think that's going to be... It's going to be a difficult challenge. But then again, we should also keep in mind that Bethesda and From Software have entirely different fan bases. One reacts to things much differently than the other. Because the communities are different. I think that in general, From Software's community is decent. Like, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's not a horrible community, but it could definitely have a better community because there is a lot of toxicity involved in that community. I think a lot of the toxicity in the Elder Scrolls community is mostly laid at the developers' feet, which obviously I don't think it should be. But there's a lot there. Elder Scrolls, I mean, I guess if you talk about the modding community, maybe there's a little bit of toxicity there from what I understand, but I'm not really that into the modding community. Like, I mod the game, that's about it. I'm not really part of, like, any sort of social circle within the modding community. So that's part of it. But I also think that I also just think that you have a lot of, I guess not necessarily, it's kind of hard to describe, but like they're different, but there's still problems within it, you know? Like, I feel like with From Software you have much more of like a troll heavy community through things like Invasion, and then with Elder Scrolls it's much more of like an elitist attitude, which, I mean, elitism is still very, very present in the Elder Scrolls community through things like Morrowind, Oblivion, etc., but there's much more chill people in that elitism where it's like, yeah, Morrowind is better, but it's not everything, you know? Like, most people still have respect for Skyrim. It's not Skyrim is the worst thing ever created. Everyone involved in it should die at the pyre. It's not like that. It's like because another thing that the two communities have in common is each game was held in charge of by the same guy, except for Arena and Daggerfall, which was in charge by where Julian LeFay was in charge. But for Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, which are the most popular versions of the Elder Scrolls games today, and that's not an opinion, that's a fact, they're all they were all made by the same people. Jeremy Soule provided the soundtrack for all 3 games. Todd Howard was the director for all 3 games. You had most of the same people working on all 3 games. And so that's similar, whereas also Miyazaki is the one who is in charge of all of his games, with similar people as well. I don't know how to pronounce their first name, but Sakuraba, who's the one who did the soundtrack for oh gosh, not this again. This is awful. I hate it here. Anyway, Sakuraba, who is the one who did the soundtrack for Dark Souls 1 and did some other work. I believe they were also involved in Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. Although, no, I'm pretty sure Yuki Kitamura did the soundtrack for Dark Souls 3. But Sakuraba was there for Night Rain, I believe. I might be wrong, but I think that's the case. Getting Jon Snowed. Alright. Blessed freedom. Blessed freedom. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Alright. So, like, they have the same people working on them, which is even funnier when you consider how much complaining the other From Software games get. It's like, yeah, I'll just do this while I talk. It is funny while they do this, because it's just like everybody complaining about the game, and it's the same people working on it, and so it's like it almost kind of makes the insults more personal, I guess. And that's kind of weird. I would be haggling, but at this point I don't care anymore. I mean, I'm not hurting for gold. But yes, that is kind of interesting. Yeah, I like all of the games. I like all of the Miyazaki games I have played, I have liked. And even the games that he wasn't in charge of, like Armored Core 1, I really enjoyed. I liked Armored Core 1. I have yet to get Armored Core 2 and 3, but I will get them and I will play them. And then I'll figure out how to play the rest of the games, so that way I can play Armored Core 6 finally. But I also love all of the Elder Scrolls games. The first one is fun. I like to play it in a way where I just kind of turn my brain off. And just like run through the dungeons. It's very satisfying for me. And then I like Daggerfall because of its presentation. I get to feel more immersed in the experience, and I enjoy that. And then Morrowind is just a very fun game for me, because it's kind of like a blend of the things I liked about Daggerfall and the things I like about the modern Elder Scrolls games. That one's not very... not a lot of money. So, it's good. Whoa! That's a lot of money. So, but this game, at least, is definitely a very fun one. Which is very long. It's an RPG, and RPGs are long. I feel like that's the thing I like about RPGs, though, is you get your money's worth with an RPG, because, like, you start off and, like, a general $70 game with, like, maybe, like, a 6-hour story mode, and then the rest of it is just, like, online mode. I don't really get as much out of, or at least I used to not get much out of. And then an RPG who, for the same price, you're getting basically 200 plus hours for like one playthrough. And especially for the Elder Scrolls, you are getting so much more than that, because you're getting like multiple playthroughs worth. Like, for this game, I think it took me 17 hours to beat it the first time. And doing that, it took me 17 hours just to beat it once. Now imagine if I had done that for like every class archetype and made a different character every time. That's what that would be like. It's very good. And this game is free too. I see you have recovered the stone tablet, Caetheryn. I trust Sir Galandir and his knights did you no permanent harm. Now for my part of the bargain, wait a moment while I get my notes. Tremonti gets a feather pen and then peers intently at the tablet. A few moments later, he inscribes the location of the Halls of Colossus, somewhere in the province of Elsewhere, onto your map. Fantastic! Thank you, suspiciously human-looking cat mage. I like to imagine each of the wizards, like at the Mages Guild, are of the race that is native to this place. So cat wizard, lizard wizard, etc. Alrighty then. Let's do a quick time check. Oh, that is so much longer. It's more time than I thought it would be. My apologies. Maybe one day I'll get this down to a crisp 30 minutes. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode when we go into the Halls of Colossus and retrieve the 4th piece of the Staff of Chaos. We are almost over halfway there to saving the Emperor. Please do not forget to do all the fun stuff that makes this channel more visible in the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to drink water and go outside. And yeah, I will see you in part 25.